Good morning, everyone. Appreciate everyone attending. My name is Jim Whitecotton. If you don't know me, I've been with Omni for about 8 years. This is, hopefully the first of a regular series of security webinars we're going to be doing. Security and compliance is something that's near and dear to my heart. So I've tried to we've been putting a lot of effort into bolstering our security offerings, and that includes the training aspect. And I think that's something that gets overlooked a good bit, is the people. And if you look at statistically, the most common way that people's computer systems and networks are getting compromised is through some action taken by a person, and most of the time it's something innocent. You're opening an email, clicking on a link, something like that, installing malware. And so that's what we're here to talk about today. We've partnered with KnowBe4, who's a leader in the industry of security awareness training, and with us to present today is Kelly Begany, who's our account rep that we work with a good deal, and I've looked at pretty much everything that's out there, and KnowBe4 is definitely the nicest system, easiest to use, offers a lot of flexibility, a lot of good content. And so Kelly's going to start off, talk a little bit about kind of cybersecurity in general, and then we'll roll into she'll demonstrate some of the modules and tools in the KnowBe4 platform that we can offer to you, and then towards the end we'll answer any questions if there are any. So if throughout, while Kelly's talking or while I'm talking, if you do have any questions, you should see a little questions module on the right hand side of your screen, and you can just type your question into there, and then at the end we'll go ahead and answer some questions if there are any. So with that, Kelly, go ahead and take it away.
Great. Thank you, Jim, so much for that introduction. Like I said, my name is Kelly Begany, and I am from KnowBe4. So, a lot of people maybe have heard of KnowBe4, wasn't, not too sure what we do. So I'll be showing you a little bit of that. I also do want you to know that, KnowBe4 is the world's most popular security awareness training and simulated phishing platform. We've got over 25,000 customers. Our mission is to help businesses not get fooled by the bad guys, is to help the humans and the users, to everybody be trained, and to develop the culture of cybersecurity all around. We've got a really cool platform. It's user-friendly, intuitive, and we know that the bad guys know that untrained end users are the weakest link into your network. So that's why we came up with what we did. We've got this platform, and we want everybody to be able to, notice and see and not click on things. So think before you click. That's what we like to say around here, plus some other things, but just think before you click. And with that, I'll go on with it. So everybody knows that there's cyber threats out there everywhere. And everybody has a plan. So you think, okay, well, I have my firewalls, I have my antivirus, I've got my spam filters, I've got advanced endpoint protection and all of this. Yet more and more we find businesses are getting hacked. Even though we've got all of this protection that's in front of us, businesses are getting hacked, ransomware is getting higher, malware is getting more and more infected on businesses everywhere, all over the world. Businesses have been paying, thousands, even millions, all because we left our most compromising element vulnerable. And that element is the user. So the user, the human, is the low-hanging fruit. Thanks to social engineering, the bad guys can rely on the untrained user to click on a malicious link and infect their business's entire network. So social engineering, it's designed to look like it's from a credible organization, but if you open it and click on it, you could be installing malware or ransomware. So it can even be designed to look like it's coming from inside your organization. So you receive an email that looks like it's coming from your CEO or from your finance department or HR, but it's actually not. That is called spoofing. And if you happen to respond, your computer can be compromised. And then, of course, your networks and all of your systems are compromised as well. So phishing is the most common social engineering attack. 91% of data breaches come from phishing, which means it has become one of the most exploited forms of social engineering. So you can see phishing, spear phishing, business email compromise, which is also another name for CEO fraud. You know, we've got social media and internet, different, there's watering hole attacks, which is relatively new, which is where the bad guys are going to try to find, you know, something that a small network of people or friends in an organization of one thing in common, or there's a website that they go to a lot, and they go through that, install malware, like a malvertisement on one of those websites, and then they're instantly connected. Once you click on it, they're instantly connected to your network. You know, and social media and internet is another thing that we need to be wary of and understand that there's, you know, fake friends. Don't, you know, if you see somebody who gives you a friend request and they have no friends in common and no friends at all, I would be very, very worried about that. So, and then, you know, the trends, ransomware is still a huge thing. We thought that was lessening a little bit, but ransomware is still out there, and it's actually getting stronger and more prevalent than it ever has before. There are a massive amount of different kinds of criminal groups. So these are, you know, of course, malicious insiders. You know, if there is somebody who is placed inside your organization who wants to do harm to your company, you know, the organized crime and hacktivists that we've all heard of, nation states, and of course, terrorists. And then the attack vectors that we have to look out for are the physical on-site attacks. You know, we've got endpoint attacks, mobile attacks, network, cloud, and Internet of Things attacks. Now, because phishing is so prevalent and needs a human element to work, your employees are your last line of defense. So, like I said, 91% of successful data breaches started with a spear phishing attack. And actually, we just found out something today. In Florida, a city police department employee got an email, a phishing email. So it was spear phishing, and clicked on the link, and down went all of the city's online systems, as well as their water utility pump stations. So they voted, had an immediate meeting for everybody, and they voted to pay the $600,000 ransom. So this ransomware is still out there, it's still prevalent, and it's going to cost businesses more than $8 billion, or it's actually cost businesses more than $8 billion in the past year. I mean, the ransomware is behind about 56% of malware attacks. And the average cost of a ransomware attack on a business is $133,000. So this is attacking not just big businesses, but small businesses as well, medium businesses. Ransomware is everywhere, and there's no saying who they'll attack next. So as you can see, it's still the #1 threat vector. Phishing and malware top outsider breaches. As you can see, the outsider is the most prevalent. Those are the ones who are coming after you. You know, insider is still a little bit, it's big, but nothing as big as the outsider. And then we've got a couple others, like a trusted business partner and an unknown source. But as you can see, that the #1 is the outsider. And then why do people click on phishing links so quickly? This is something that a lot of people have done some studies on, wondering why we do that. But if you think about what you're doing with your day, you're really busy. You're going into your email. A lot of us work out of our email, and we get an email that we see, it looks familiar to us. So we click on it, and that's all it takes, is that familiarity. We are just going so fast that we're not stopping and taking that extra second to look at the email address that it's coming from, to hover over the link to see if the link actually shows us it's going to take us to the right place, that we just click on things. And that's incredibly prevalent. And we also inherently trust the internet. Surprisingly, you would think that people always say, don't trust the internet, or you can't believe everything you read on the internet. but inherently we all do trust the internet. And so that's why we will click on things that we shouldn't be clicking on. And once we do that, of course, that's where we've got our problems and that's where the issues arrive. This is great. A percentage of total inbound emails that are phishing emails. So this was a Microsoft. They analyzed Office 365, more than 470 billion email messages. So they do this every month for phishing and malware. And this provides considerable insight into attacker trends and techniques. The share of inbound emails that were phishing messages increased 250% between January and December of last year. So phishing remains one of the top attack vectors used to deliver malicious zero-day payloads to users, and Microsoft has continued to harden against these attacks with additional anti-phishing protection. The main thing we're working with Microsoft on now is, security awareness training, because everybody is starting to be more aware that security awareness training really is that last line of defense. Now, these are a couple other, oh, you know what? I think that we already saw that slide. So CEO fraud impacts you. So, it's a start. The attackers can see how they can spoof your domain and impersonate the CEO. KnowBe4 actually has a really cool tool that is a domain spoof test. So you can run that for free and see if your domain can actually be spoofed. And we have the bad guys, they troll for companies for months, and they could really be sitting on the sidelines for months gathering the necessary data. And then they phish. So the spoofed emails are sent to high-risk employees in the organization. They, urgent wire transfer. And this is something that recently we had a company come to us. They really needed our help because there was a CEO fraud and they spoofed their domain. And because of that, they asked an employee, it was a CEO, asking an employee to transfer a wire of $80,000. And this employee did so. And so the company was out $80,000 because it wasn't real. It was a spear phishing attack. So a lot of that's happening all the time. Other examples, please pay this time sensitive invoice. And then I need a PDF copy of all employee W-2s for the IRS. There was a couple of IRS scams that had happened also during tax season. The response, the target receives email and acts without reflection or questioning the source, which happens all too often. A lot of people get scared because it's our CEO and they think, okay, I got to do what the CEO says. I got to do what the CFO says. But that's where you need to at least, call them, ask them, would they really be reaching out to you for doing that? Think about it before you respond. And of course, the damage, social engineering was successful. So it gave the hackers access to whatever it was that they were after. And then the result is the fallout after a successful attack. It could be highly damaging for both the company and its employees. And this is not just monetary. This is also, reputation and intangibles, loss of trust. People can get fired from their jobs. So there's a lot at stake here. And then, protecting our organization, it's, defense in depth. It's great. You want to have the antivirus, you want to have the spam filters, you want to have the firewalls, you want to have everything that you need, but you also need to understand that the human is the weakest link and the human needs to be trained. So with that, I will go ahead and show you guys the KnowBe4 platform. Now, this is going to be a quick demonstration of what we do, what we have in here to help train those humans that I have been talking about. So let me move my screen over. And here we go. So this is the dashboard. This is the first thing that the admin would see when they come in here. Now, our platform is hosted on Amazon and it's subscription-based. So because we are a security company, I'm going to demonstrate a fictitious account and I'm not going to show any real customer information. Now, the first thing that you're going to see here is the organization's risk score. So this is a roll-up of all your users' risk scores, giving you a combined total for your organization. And you can hover over the line at any time the past 6 months to see where you were and where your organization was. So this is trending over time and it's calculated at the user level, which I'll go into further shortly. The next snapshot is the ability to see industry benchmarks as far as phish-prone percentage is concerned. So this allows you to see where you stand compared to your peers. So you can say, okay, well, I am in the construction business. My company is small and I want to see where I compare after 90 days. and you can compare your fish prone percentage to where your industry is, and then let's see what 1 year is. And it's just kind of a good way to see where you are, and if you need some more training, what needs to happen there. Okay, so now I'm going to jump into users. So we have something really cool that if you're using Active Directory, so what this does is it's a proprietary lightweight software application that you can install that allows a one-way push of your information, whatever you choose to send into our platform, including all users, any organizational groups you've already put together, as well as the option to send the direct dial numbers if you have them. This Active Directory integration can be set up to sync every 6 hours, so any changes you make in your Active Directory will automatically reflect in your console without you having to manually upload all of the information. So that's a great way to do the import. You can also import via quick import, where you just put user emails right here, and then you can also do a CSV import. But if you do have Active Directory, it's a really, really great way to get everybody uploaded and involved. Now over here we've got groups. So this is where you can see your various groups. You've got your Active Directory groups that are in here. You can create new groups if you would like. A lot of people do a clickers group, so these are the people that maybe fail phishing security tests. We also have smart groups where you enter some criteria and those smart groups will create them for you. We have a relatively new feature right now. It allows you to assign various security roles to additional administrators and regulate what they do. So click on the new security role. You have the ability to assign security roles to any group or individuals in your organization. So for example, you can assign HR, access to reporting. You can assign somebody, an individual user to do the phishing, but not see any of their reporting or anything else. You can give another employee, limited admin privileges. So and to create training campaigns and things like that. So it's a really cool feature that we have for the security roles. All right, so I'm going to show you, go over here to users, and I'm going to pick on a user. He is not real, he is fictional. He's not very good at not clicking on things, and his name is Fritz. So come on, Fritz. All right, so this is looking at everything at the actual user level. So the first thing you see is Fritz's personal risk score, along with a spider graph, which shows the 5 contributing factors that make up his risk score. So right here, we've got this booster. Now, what this is a manual boost that you can do if you have a user that has specific access to, say, like bank accounts or credit card for information, something that our artificial intelligence wouldn't know about. Exposure, this shows how exposed they are on the internet, how much they're out there, social networks, that sort of thing, and if they are in any breaches. Your job function looks at the title of the user, how important they are in the organization, and what that risk might be. So it might be higher for, a CEO, a CFO, somebody in accounting or finance, and maybe a little bit lower for, sales or receptionists, that sort of thing. And then behavior, this shows how they do on the simulated phishing tests, any failures, and if they are being tested regularly. And then training, this is affected by any training they have done or not done in the console. So all of these combine to make Fritz's very own personal risk score. So you can actually go down here. Here's another lovely graph that we have. So this graph shows his risk score over time. And you can click on any point on this graph to see the biggest contributing factors to his risk score at that time. Now here you can see that Fritz has received several simulated phishing emails and has a failure rate of 75%, which isn't great. So what's really cool is that you can see exactly why he failed and the date and time that he did. So you can hover over the check marks and you can find all of that information. And then you can even come over here to the little envelope and see what email it was that he failed. So obviously Fritz was very hungry. It was probably around lunchtime and he wanted a free pan pizza. So this is what he clicked on. And I like showing this example because you can see we do images. It looks pretty and it looks legitimate. What I like to point out is that we do actual domain spoofing, which is unique to our platform. you can see up here that it looks like it's coming from pizzahut.com. So we are not limiting you on the phishing emails that you want to send. You know, you can have it come from anywhere you want, actually. All of our templates, which I will go into shortly, are editable. And if you want it to come from, you know, Mickey Mouse at Disney.com, you can do that. If you want it to come from, you know, Daenerys at Dragonstone, you can do that. Whatever it is that, you know, we give you that the reins to take to do that. And you can also put in any company or organization logo so it looks legitimate and looks real, because the bad guys have been getting more and more real looking. One thing I want to point out real quick on using logos is that there's no functionality in our system that will allow you to save an image on your local machine. And you can't upload it onto the server. So there are other companies that do phishing, and usually they have you download the image and upload to the platform, but we didn't want you to have to worry about that and copyright problems. So this is this way, you know, it just embeds a link directly back to the organization's website to view the logo, and they are still hosting the image. They still own it, and you don't have to worry about it. And then down here is a complete timeline of everything that has occurred with that specific user from the moment they were created to what training they've done and what phishing they've done and all of that. All right, so those of you who still have USB drives enabled, I know a lot of people still do. I see it a lot and hear it a lot. We have a USB test drive option. So I don't know if you've heard, but a group of researchers at the University of Illinois decided to drop 297 booby-trapped USB sticks on the school campus to see how many would actually plug them into their computer. So they found that 48% of people will pick up a random USB stick and put it in their computer. So that's amazing, right? In our USB drive test, you can quickly create a campaign here. Whoops, where'd it go? I lost that. Restart the campaign. I clicked on it too soon. This is where you would find your initial campaign, and then we've got these beaconized files that you would put on the USB stick, and then you can name it something enticing, like you can do layoffs or bonuses, that sort of thing. Drop them around the office, see who would actually pick them up and put them in their computer, open them, and you know, even enable macros. So what I'd like to show you here is that this is our pride and joy. We have our mod store. Now with our mod store right here, we've got over 900 pieces of content, which is crazy. There is 933 right now. I think yesterday maybe it was 925. There's so much more content that's constantly coming in. And I can tell you about 6 months ago, I think there was like 700 pieces of content. So this is something that is constantly being updated and is being added to, not just by KnowBe4 itself, but from our partners. We have you know, partners like the Security Awareness Company. We actually own Popcorn Trading. We recently acquired them. Twist and Shout is a partner of ours who created The Inside Man, which is a Netflix style series. And they're about like 6 to 8 minutes long each episode. I believe there are 8 episodes, and they will they will entertainingly teach you about security awareness training. So there's a lesson in each episode, but they're also keep your attention and they're interesting and you want to watch the next one. So it's really cool. We have our 2019 Kevin Mitnick Security Awareness Training. Now this is the training that comes with every level. This is what we want everybody to take. If you don't know who Kevin Mitnick is, Kevin Mitnick is he's the world's most famous hacker. He was once the world's most wanted hacker. He is part of our company, and we love Kevin. He has understood social engineering for many, many years, knew it was going to be the problem that it is today, and has helped us create these trainings to give to you guys, so you guys understand where we are with social engineering and how to combat that. So we've got that in a 45-minute version, a 30-minute version, and a 15-minute version as well. And then as you can see, we've got all these different topics you can access. So it's not just security awareness training. We've got HR training. We've got active shooter training, sexual harassment training. We've got some HIPAA training, GDPR, you know, PII. There's so much in here. We've got training for kids as well. We've got modules, we've got videos, we've got posters, we've got games, you know, everything that you could possibly imagine we've got in here. So you can use all of that training for your users. And speaking of training, I will going to go over here and show you all about setting up a training campaign and see how easy that is. So you click on this little button that says Create Campaign. Now you're going to want to give the campaign a name. So if it's onboarding for new hires or just security awareness training, they will see this title in their welcome email. And so you want everybody to understand what it was. So you pick a start date, you pick an end date, or you can do relative duration. So if you want them to have 2 or 3 weeks to complete the training, or you can have no end date. So it's just ongoing training with, not ending at any time. So let's go back to specified date. You pick your content here, you decide what you want. You can pick as many as you need to. Enroll the groups, so you can enroll all users or any groups that we had divvied up in the groups tab and the users tab. You can put those in here if you just want to send out to accounting or IT or whomever. But usually, if you're just doing a security awareness training, you hit the all users. Add completed users to a group if you want to have a group for everybody who's already done the training. And then we've got notifications here. So what's really cool about this is you can have specify different types of notifications. So remind after enrollment, due date, campaign completion. You can notify the user manager or admins depending on what you want them to be notified by, if somebody has done a training, if somebody hasn't, all of that. So that's how easy it is. Hit create campaign, and then you're all set. So you can do that, you can spend 20 minutes doing that, one time a year, and then you're done. So it makes life super, super simple. Okay, so over here on store purchases, this is a list of the purchase courses, which is where you go into the mod store and you purchase them, everything, depending on the subscription level. I mean, it's all included. It's not like there's an extra fee or anything like that. But what's great about this function is that you click on the name of the course right here. So we'll click on the Kevin Mitnick Security Awareness Training. Go to edit module options. And if you have a security policy that you need everybody to read, a PDF or an employee handbook or things like that when they need to take this training, especially if it's an onboarding, you can click policy required, attach the copy right here, and then you are all set. And it tracks whether they read it or not as well. All right. The My Training tab, this is what everybody is going to see, the actual users are going to see. So when the user clicks on the training link, it takes them to a landing page, and that looks like this. So we revamped our learner experience to add a fresh, modern design and a new option that could bring gamification to your security awareness training plan. So as you can see here, we've got this leaderboard, the Avengers, Justice League, and X-Men. You can see that we're kind of nerdy over here. That's part of our gamification and part of our love of all things nerd. So your users can compete against each other as well and earn different kinds of badges and all things like that. So these are just little touches that we do in here because we want to make everything fun. I'm going to go back to training. And let's open one of these training windows. So this is where the training is. It opens up in a new browser window. So it's really cool. I can start. Now I can go through this. You click next. A lot of these, oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. Whoops, sorry. I hope everybody didn't hear that going on. So what this does is resume where you like to left off, would you like to resume where you left off? So what's great about this is if somebody is gets a phone call while they're taking the training, or somebody has to go and they just want to split it up, they can resume where they left off. The trainings are engaging, they're interactive. You have to click the next button to go on to the next module. There's quizzes on these trainings as well. So they're great for everybody to actually pay attention to and to actually learn, because that's what we want. Okay, so let's get out of here. We'll go back to the console, and I'm going to show you what everybody really loves. The most fun part of it is fishing. So we're going to go fishing. All right, let's start with the email templates. So you're going to have a few categories for templates. You've got My Templates, System Templates, and Community Templates. Now, of course, when you first sign up, there's not really going to be anything in the My Templates. but as you keep going, you'll be able to, you'll have more stuff in there. You can create them, or ones that you use a lot. So they're really good, and you can create a new phishing email template with this button right here. And it's just really easy to create. It's just a simple WYSIWYG editor. So you have full reign to do that. So under system templates, we've got over 3,000 templates that you can use, and they are updated and added to regularly. You can see the full list right here, or you could choose a specific category on the left. Everything from, you've got banking, current events, social networking. We even have, if the hackers come out with a new trick, we created a mirrored simulated image, and we rolled this out to you of reported phishers of the week of all the latest scams. So these, we can preview this right here. So this is something that has been sent out to our customers who have seen this come through. These were the real ones that they had seen, showed us. That way we can copy that and mirror that. And you guys can then go in there and say, okay, well, let's send this to my users before the real thing comes out, so that they know if they actually get it, it's a phishing email. And you can see there's difficulty ratings for these as well. Here's another one, new Facebook message. A lot of people would click on something like that. And with the little eye, you can always preview everything that's in here. Let's see, I'll show you the banking category. Wells Fargo, this is a 2-star difficulty. If somebody doesn't have Wells Fargo and they see this coming in their inbox, hopefully they don't click because they don't have Wells Fargo. And hopefully they don't click anyway because they went through security awareness training and they know to look for the red flags, which we'll go into shortly. We've also got, I like to show this. Here we go. I think a lot of people would probably click on this one so everybody can see how real this looks. Trump announces new reality show from CNNalerts.com. So that's a template that you can use. And also all of these can be edited as well. So you have full reign to edit any of these templates that we have in here also. But as you can see, we've got tons of categories. We also have many different languages. So if that's something that's important to you, then you can, have them in all of these languages that we have. Okay, so with any email template, you're going to need a landing page. So with our landing pages, we've got a couple of different landing pages you can choose from. Right now, we've got about 96 templates. So when a user clicks on a phishing link, you want them to land, if you want them to know that it was a simulated phishing test, you can use something like our basic oops landing page, which you can preview with that little eye, that says, oops, you clicked on a simulated phishing test, and here's some three rules to stay safe online. Stop, look, think, rule number 2, rule number 3. So it's kind of some quick training for the user who actually clicked on the phishing link. If you don't want them to know it's a phishing security test, you can just use a 404 not found page. And a lot of people just go, oh, okay, well, I guess that website's not working. We have a social engineering indicators landing page, which is really cool. So what this does is it shows you the red flags of any of the emails that you choose to use. So you can hover over them and it tells you what to look for. So, the sender email addresses from your organization, but could be spoofed. A sense of urgency, that's a big one. Looking at the link and making sure it's taking you to the place where it says it's going to take you, all of that. So and it will conform to any of the templates that we have in there. We also have, let's go back to, it depends on, how serious you want to be or how much fun you want to have with this. But if you have somebody that clicks on a phishing link in a simulated phishing test and then has their volume up, you can Rickroll them, which means you can have Rick Astley singing Never Gonna Give You Up. So it would start as soon as they clicked on that phishing link and he would start singing. So that's always really fun. That's something that we like to play around with because we do like to have lots and lots of fun here. And then I'll show you how to start a campaign. It's super easy to create our campaigns over here. So you would name your campaign, whatever you want to name it, deliver to the users that you want to deliver it to. You can do the frequency. Now, what we recommend doing at least a monthly phishing security test. You can do it quarterly. You can do it, as much as weekly or biweekly, but doing it monthly at least keeps everything on top of mind, and it keeps security there. So your users will keep seeing it and understanding it. And it also will give you that reporting to see where everybody's at a monthly basis. You pick your start time, and then how many days you want the email sent over. So it's not going to just blast emails all at once. You can define your business hours. So if you have people who work Saturdays and Sundays, you can do that and the different times that they work. You can track activity after a certain amount of days. So if there's PTO, somebody's on vacation, you can then they come back to take the test. It will track that activity. Now your categories, this is where you pick the categories that you want. Go over to where all of the templates are. So you can pick a couple of the templates here, or pick a template here, but we actually have this feature that we love, which is called full random. So this is a random email to each user, which means nobody is going to get the same email at the same time. So there is no like prairie dog effect. Nobody can say, oh, hey, don't click on that Pizza Hut email. It's a phishing security test, or they're phishing us, whatever it is. So that's why we really love the full random feature. So it gives us the most accurate results possible. And then you click on your difficulty ratings, which ones you want to start with. You want to start small or you want to start hard. Add your landing page. And then if you want to add clickers to a clickers group, create campaign, and then you're all set. And you can do that once and then you're done, which is really great for the whole year. And so now I'll open up a campaign so you can see what it looks like. Now here we go. This is what we had for the initial campaign. So you can see your clicks like per hour and day, and you can even see the location of the clicks. We have actually had a couple of customers tell us that they found out that their system was already compromised because of this map. So a guy was in the UK and it showed he was in Dallas, Texas when he clicked, and he was not actually in Dallas. And so they knew that his login was already compromised. So that's something you can pay attention to as well. And if you have a click in an odd location, you can sort that out. All right, so if you go to users, you get all of the actions that have happened with these users. You can see here that there were 537 recipients. It was delivered to all of them. You had 149 that opened and 149 that clicked. Now, if this is an active link, this is an active link. So if you open up, you'll see just the list of clickers. So let's click on that. So here's everybody that clicked. It will tell you who, the date and time, IP address, location, browser version, and operating system. You might see other operating systems like Android devices and iOSs, and if you aren't allowing them to check their email on those mobile devices as an organization policy, well, that's just another added benefit. Okay, so here you can also see who opened attachments, entered data. Now where is the vulnerable plugins? Now this is really cool because it's part of our Platinum package and it's a vulnerable plugin scan. So what happens is the employee clicks on a phishing link and gets a landing page. And what our system does is it finds out what browser, what plugins for that browser, and what version. Let me click on this over here. And it'll know if there's an update, if it's vulnerable, and if it is, it'll let us know. That way we can go to the help desk or IT and get those patched up. Another cool feature that we have is our automated security awareness program. So this is, we developed this program so it allows you to create your entire security awareness training roadmap and all of your tasks by simply answering a 5-minute questionnaire. So you'll have a task list and calendar which you can follow to run a fully mature security awareness training program. So it's really cool. It will literally walk you through each step from getting it approved by your stakeholders to whitelisting to setting up templates, course suggestions, absolutely everything. So you can see here it'll give you the task, what you need to do. And what's great about it as well is you can download the entire program, or you can download just an executive summary to show the higher ups and say, this is our security awareness training program that we're going to start. So it's a great program that we have in there. And then I will show you our reports. So here is where you're going to have access to our advanced reporting feature. Now you can create like, I think it's over 60 different styles of reports, and this is to meet the needs of your organization. So these reports will help you understand where improvements need to be made to improve the strength of your human firewall. So you can search by telling it what you want by clicking the microphone and speaking if you want to do that right here, or you can simply type it in the search function. Now I'll show you a couple reports here. Let me find my fish prone percentage report. I like to show this one. This is the fish prone percentage report. Now this shows the fish prone percentage for all users, including the industry benchmark, which you see right here. Take this step further and see how this looks in conjunction with training. You can go to the group by field and select training time to see any correlation on how each group and organization is doing on their fish prone percentage in conjunction with how much training they have done on average as a group. You can see here, the bigger the bubble, the bigger the group. The higher up on the chart, the more training they've had, and the further right they are, the higher their fish prone percentage. So the next report I'll show you is the group report card. Now let's see, let's pick on accounting over here. So you can see the risk score over time for the group, the fish prone percentage, different failure types in this group, and even the top 5 phishing templates that have been used, and training statuses and all of that. So this is all at a glance reporting for that group. So again, we've got a massive amount of reporting that you can have here, you can deliver and download. Back to the console. Last thing I'll touch on real quick, we do have phishing. So this is voice phishing, and creating a phishing campaign is very much the same as you would do with a trading campaign or a phishing campaign. But we've seen a lot more of this lately where people are getting called from their, from robocalls, or they're getting, sometimes it's a person, sometimes it's not. We have this functionality in here that allows you to do this to, if you upload the direct dial numbers in Active Directory, you can see the phishing, preview here. Your phone system is being upgraded. We require you to enter a PIN. There are some that will ask you, debit card, tells you what they want, a social security number, a phone number, all of that. And if a user actually enters in information, that information is not stored. So we don't store anything at all. We're just going to tell you that data was entered. And then, up here, you create your phishing campaign and you're all set to go. So I think with that, I have shown you guys a lot that is, there's so much, it's very comprehensive console in here. There's a lot of training that can be done, but I figured that's a pretty good start. So Jim, I will send it back to you.
Great, thanks, Kelly. That was great. I appreciate it. So we got a handful of questions, and the first thing I'll touch on is Kelly said there's a lot of information, and we understand that. So if you're interested in seeing something a little more targeted to your own situation, or maybe ask questions directly, you can feel free to reach out to us. Either if your account manager or salesperson, whoever your contact is at Omni, or you can send an email to info@omniperforms.com. And we're also we'll follow up with a meeting to all the attendees and registrants with a recording and other information, as well as some of the links to some of the free tools that Kelly talked about that are available that you can get to, that KnowBe4 just provides for free. And so on another, to sort of relate to that, we don't expect not everybody has the time to manage the platform like this, and that's some of the questions were in that vein, and that's something we're here to help you with that. The KnowBe4 folks are here to help with that. So really, it's for the clients that we have sold this to already. We've handled. They've been mostly hands off, and we've provided the reports to them, and we've helped set up the campaigns and things like that. So don't I don't want you to be overwhelmed by kind of the amount of information and using the system and tracking and setting everything up. That's something that you would have resources with if you decided to do this. and it's really a platform. Another reason that I was drawn to them initially. It's a platform that'll fit any budget. The cost of it's really aggressive, and that's something else that we can talk about offline if someone's interested, to reach out to us here at Omni. But it really is, it looks like something that may be geared towards large enterprise or something like that, and come with a large enterprise price point. But it's really fantastic, and they've really been able to keep the price affordable for even small businesses. You check some of the other anything else I mentioned about that we would help, you would have help for setting up campaigns and things like that. Same with editing templates. There are, as Kelly showed, there are hundreds and hundreds of templates to use for phishing campaigns. But even if you use some sort of cloud application or something that maybe they don't have a template for, we can create a custom template that mirrors something that for your company. So if you use a specific CRM that maybe they don't have a template for already, we can create that and really make it specific to your business, to really make your folks think about things that they're getting and clicking on. And with that, I don't think we have any more questions. So I think we will wrap up a little early. Again, Kelly, I really appreciate it and doing this for us and going through it with everybody.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Great. And thanks to everybody who attended. And as I said, we'll follow up with an email to everybody with some additional information, and look forward to doing more of these types of things in the future. Thanks a lot, everybody. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks. You too, Kelly.
All right. Bye.